Whenever I travel abroad and mention somewhat that I come from a part of Romania called Transylvania, everyone asks me about Dracula. Have you seen his castle? Is he dangerous? Did you meet him? You do realize that Dracula is a fictional character, right? Brought to life by Bram Stoker in 1897, the vampire count appeared in many theatrical pieces, movies, video games, and board games as well. Hello everyone and welcome to Ollie Plays a Lot. In today's Before You Pledge section of my channel, we will be taking a look at Dining with Dracula, designed by Laura Drăguleanu, Giuliano Drăguleanu, and Andreea Georgescu, illustrated by Mihail, and soon to be published by 2Fat2Fly games. Unlike in other episodes, today I don't have the physical copy of the game, so I will mainly use the Kickstarter images and some footage from Tabletopia while I talk. And yes, I mentioned Tabletopia, the game is uploaded on that platform, so if you want to play it before you pledge for it on Kickstarter, you can do it. Just follow the link in the description below. Dining with Dracula is a family-weight competitive single worker placement game for 2 to 4 players, which plays in around an hour. In it, players are the heirs of Count Dracula and they aim to become the new leader. On your turn, you place your single worker on any unoccupied action space and do the action associated with it, either collecting resources or building souvenir shops. If you place your worker next to a tourist, then you can move that little guy as well and perform another action and also use a tourist card. The game features a cool timing mechanism. After each action taken, the hand of the clock advances 1 or 2 hours, and after it went around twice, meaning that a full day has passed, it's dinner time. Players need to pay the entrance fee in blood, and then they can shower Dracula with gifts and earn points by doing so. After 4 complete rounds, the game ends, and whoever has the most points is declared the new lead vampire. I consider Dining with Dracula a gateway game to the worker placement genre. You move your single worker across the board and try to be as efficient as possible by occupying spaces with tourists, so that you can move them as well. I enjoy this mechanism because it often meant that you had to recalibrate your plan. Yes, the game is not punishing enough for my taste, and often if plan A or plan B didn't work out, you had a plan C which didn't feel worse than plan A. And here I would underline that the game is not mainly intended for heavy gamers, but rather for families that want to play something pleasant on a Sunday afternoon. The shared time mechanism was the thing that made me interested in the game. You might have played games like Patchwork, Village, or Cavern Tavern where players mark the passing of time, but no game other than Dining with Dracula comes to my mind where players use time as a common finite resource. The idea makes no thematic sense, which might not bother the target audience, but it is a great one. Given that we have played with an older set of rules, I cannot comment on this particular mechanism, but I will point out that some players will consume more time, meaning that they will have made more actions by the end of the game than others. The third thing I want to mention is something I really enjoyed. In order to convert your favorite tokens and other resources to points, you had to pay a blood fee to take part at the dinner. The bigger fee you pay, the more conversions you're allowed to make. And this means that you will have to find a balance between receiving favorite tokens by building souvenir shops and obtaining blood by stealing tourists, buying sheep, or maybe snatching a blood bag from the hospital. I'm really glad that the Romanian designer trio went for a theme that stems from our country. The actions you take make thematic sense, and I found that learning and also teaching the game is easy. Each building you see on the map gives you a specific type of resource. You can find holy water at the church, beer at the inn, blood bags at the hospital, and so on. Building materials are used to building souvenir shops. You can lure the tourists by giving them food. And the old count needs blood to accept your presence at his table. Fail to get him some and he will bite you and weaken you by doing so. The character and tourists are family friendly, and all the gifts you give to Dracula are really creative. Who wouldn't want to give him a set of 3 deluxe coffins or a t-shirt that says "Bite me"? The thematic tie gets a big thumbs up from me. The game's replay value on the other hand is okay. The position of the first tourists will influence your decisions because you want to maximize your moves and send your worker to a place that is visited by tourists. Still, I wish the replay value was better, and this could be achieved by making the player boards asymmetric, introducing some event cards that changes somehow the game, or making one side of the map a bit different. We will see how things evolve in the campaign. So far, the replay value is okay for a family game. Dining with Dracula features the same type of art we got used to in Moonshiners of the Apocalypse and Trouble in Templetown, the company's first two Kickstarter projects. And there is something with those cartoonish characters that I cannot explain but that draws me in. I also like how the map looks like. The characters are all gathered on one of the castle's terraces which overlooks the city. The clock is built into the left pillar of the terrace, and the town is home to many fun-looking buildings. Oh, and a fun fact. Did you notice that there is a fifth character sitting at the table? Leave a comment with what you think this might mean. One thing I'm not a fan of is the long, chunky flavor text on the tourist cards. Less text and bigger image would have been way better. Also, I think the backstory of each character should have been mentioned in the rulebook and not on the player boards. But I guess they went for the same type of player board design as in Trouble in Templetown. The iconography is okay, still I wish that the icons for the presents and the bites would have been less detailed. Hopefully this will be dealt with in the final version of the game. Given that I have played with the prototype copy of Dining with Dracula, I cannot talk about component quality, so let's check what the designers have in plan for us. Players will have double-sided player mats, and I have my fingers crossed for player abilities like in Architects of the West Kingdom. The game comes with a double-sided board, and again I'm hoping that the knight side will somehow pump up the difficulty of the game and make it a bit more dynamic. Players will have meeples and standees as well, and I'm glad that there are no miniatures in plan, because they would have inflated the price and would have been futile given the main audience. The resources and meeples will be wooden, which I much prefer over plastic bits, and the souvenir shops will be acrylic gems. From what I can read, the components will have great quality overall. The two sessions I had with my gamer friends generated totally different feedbacks. One group had their gamer glasses on and complained that the actions you miss, meaning that someone took the spot you were aiming for, don't have a big enough overall impact. The game doesn't punish you enough, and that there are way too many resources and you just jump around collecting them, and in the end the game boils down to a simple resource conversion mechanism dressed in a vampire theme. The other group was less harsh, and in the end we enjoyed the game. Although we came up with a few things that we would like to see changed, having player abilities, balancing the points that you get for the gift cards, and also having a draft mechanism for the gift cards, we agreed that with some fine-tuning, Dining with Dracula will be a good family weight game. If you enjoy heavy titles and eat lacerda for breakfast, then this campaign might not be for you. But if you're looking for something light that you want to play with your kids or non-gamer friends or relatives who are not into the hobby and are okay with the price of the game plus shipping, then Dining with Dracula might be your jam. As mentioned, the game has an okay replay value, a great theme, peculiar art design, and promises to come with good components. Hopefully the designers will make some changes based on the feedback they got from the play sessions and also listen to what the backers are asking from them. My name is Oli and I'm so glad that we spent another Before You Pledge episode together. Keep in mind that the campaign is still running, so if you think that Dining with Dracula is in your wheelhouse, better back it on Kickstarter. If you enjoyed today's content, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for future episodes. See you on the next one. Happy gaming!